Do you know who you are? Does your brain agree with you? Welcome to Mindnificent. In today's video, we're back. Only this time, we're going even deeper with another 10 mind-blowing psychological facts that you need to know. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Number 1. When it comes to technology, we definitely act our age. We make jokes about older people typing with one finger or trying to initiate a personal conversation in the comment section of a selfie we just posted. The generation gap is glaringly obvious by the way people utilize and interact with technology available today. These are the digital tells we can utilize to guess someone's approximate age. Baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. They grew up in a time before technology, and as such, they consider it to be as separate to their lives. Technology is simply a tool that they use to complete a task. For instance, they go on the internet and they make a call on the cell phone. Then you have Gen Xers, born between 1965 and 1980. They've readily adapted to technology to be more productive, and they enjoy customizing and personalizing their experience. Next, we have the Millennials, born between 1981 and 1996. They've grown up during periods of rapid technological upgrade advances and seamlessly integrated into their lives. So, paradoxically, Millennials will instead look something up, make a call, or send a message. The technology is both implied and assumed. Then we have Gen Z and Generation Alpha, who are seemingly born with an iPhone in their hands and display an innate affinity with technology. The notion of using a Walkman, DVD player, VHS player, or home phone seems simply absurd. Number 2. We want more choices and information than we can actually process. When selecting toothpaste, would you be happy with just one type of toothpaste? Or would you prefer if they had 25 different types of toothpaste to choose from? Choice gives us options, and we all want to make the right choice because we fear making a bad one. According to a 2019 study conducted by the Buffalo University, the illusion of choice is appealing because it affords us freedom and control over our own lives. The paradox of choice, however, is that when faced with too many options, we become overwhelmed, fearful, and frustrated. This can lead us to become frozen and paralyzed with fear, unable to make a decision at all. On the other hand, if we do manage to make a decision, it is likely that we will have negative feelings about our final choice because we weren't confident it was the best decision. The balance? Having a smaller number of options actually empowers us with control and confidence. Number 3. We feel happier to spend money on experiences rather than possessions. What makes you happier? Unboxing that brand new iPhone or finally going on that overseas holiday you've been saving up for? They cost about the same, so which is it? According to a 2020 study from the University of Texas at Austin, people who spend their money on an experience are far happier before, during, and after their purchase than those that choose to purchase a materialistic item instead. Realistically, you are going to spend your money anyway, and it turns out money can buy happiness. It just depends how and what you choose to spend it on. Number 4. We're less likely to succeed if we announce our goals to others. Setting intentions and announcing your goals to the world to increase our chances of success. By doing so, we believe it will hold us accountable and further motivate us to achieve the goal we publicly committed to, right? Sadly, this is not the case. In fact, the reality is quite the opposite. According to a 2009 study conducted by Peter Gollwitzer of NYU, simply telling people about your newly realized goals, dreams, and aspirations could sabotage us from ever achieving them. When we misguidedly announce our grand plans to the world, We are filled with a sense of premature achievement and perceived success. These positive feelings stifle motivation and commitment required to implement and execute your goals. With the amount of praise, recognition, and success you felt from publicly sharing your goals, what is left to strive for? After all, why do you have to work so hard for something you feel like you have already achieved? Number 5. We can only remember 3 to 4 items at a time. Why is it that when you are given a list of 10 items to buy from the grocery store, you will inevitably get home and realize you forgot at least one item on the list? Don't be too hard on yourself. We have all done it. And it turns out the average person can only really think and retain information about 3 or 4 things at any one time in our working memory. Working memory refers to the temporary storage facility of our conscious mind, where we initially score, process, and manipulate information. Constantly busy, our working memory comes into play during problem solving, language comprehension, and planning. Research has discovered that the capacity of our brain's working memory is extremely limited, and we can only have a maximum of 3 to 4 things running around in our minds at any one time. If you forget a birthday, blame your brain. Number 6. We made most of our decisions unconsciously. We make hundreds of decisions every single day, from what to eat for lunch, if we are going to exercise today, to what time we go to bed. We are actively and consciously making these types of decisions all the time. Research from Max Planck Gesellschaft made some surprising discoveries in relation to the brain's decision-making process. The study found that they could accurately predict the decisions of their test subjects based on unconscious mental activity in the brain. The research concluded that the majority of our decision-making process initially occurs in the unconscious mind. We process, prepare, and make our decisions unconsciously, several seconds prior to the conscious mind making the final decision. So, did you really choose to click on this video? Number 7. Personality and language. Have you ever wondered why people who speak multiple languages appear as if they are 2 entirely different people, significantly shifting their personality depending on the language they are speaking at that time? Someone could be considered headstrong, opinionated, and outspoken in one language, and in stark contrast, they are quiet, reserved, and polite in the other? This confusing phenomenon was explored further by researchers Sylvia Zhaohua Chen and Michael Harris Bond. Their work found that when people speak in a second language, specific personality traits, mannerisms, and tonal changes are activated. This can take the form of gesticulation, altered pitch, and even posture. The different cultural expressions can sometimes be so polarizing that it appears as if they have multiple personalities. Number 8. Our brains try to make boring speeches more interesting. Have you ever been in a class, lecture, or presentation where the presenter speaks in a dull, monotone voice with no variation in speed or pitch? How about reading long passages of a textbook? Boring, right? Turns out, to save us from falling asleep or ignoring important information, our brains will quickly try to save us from the tedium of indirect speech. The University of Glasgow found that the voice we hear in our heads as we read written text is the brain's way of animating the words we are reading, making the content more interesting to us, and thus the consumption and digestion of the written information is made easier. The same phenomenon occurs during boring speeches. Our brains attempt to transform the information and even the voice of the speaker to be more vivid in our heads by talking or commentating over boring speeches. Number 9. We care more about a single person than about massive tragedies. human compassion is surprisingly limited. We can easily turn a blind eye to large-scale atrocities we are far removed from. Yet at the same time, we can feel overwhelming compassion towards an individual's tale of personal tragedy. Do we really value a single life over the collective lives of many? Not exactly. This seemingly callous response is due to a phenomenon called psychic numbing, which only desensitizes us further as the death toll rises. Psychologists have surmised that our brains are hardwired to help someone in front of us because we feel as though we can make a difference to their life. But when the problem is on a significantly larger scale, it makes us feel as though the help we can offer is inconsequential and it won't make a difference. And number 10. People rise to our high expectation. Have you ever heard of the Pygmalion effect? In a 1968 study conducted by Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson, a group of students were selected to take a test claiming to identify students who were academically gifted. The teachers were then provided with a list of names they were told that the test had identified as exhibiting potential. Unknown to the teachers, these names were chosen at random. IQ and academic performance was not at all a factor in this experiment. In subsequent testing, the randomly selected advanced students significantly outperformed their peers. So, how is this possible? It turns out, it all came down to the teacher's perception of the apparently gifted child. The elevated expectations transformed the teacher's behavior and approach to the students who they believed to be demonstrating academic promise. They were warmer, more attentive, and delivered both a higher amount and increased difficulty level of teaching material. Additionally, they had more patience with the gifted students when compared to their classmates. They were noticeably more invested and engaged in the students' learning, offering detailed and personalized feedback. Perception is everything. Did we successfully blow your mind? Had you heard any of these amazing facts before? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this psychological facts video we're doing here on Mindnificent, please check out part 1 of the series at the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and click on that bell notification button because more magnificent content is on the way.